Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Fireside chat with our all-star alumni who we're catching up with to ask where are they now. Today, I'm joined by Manoharan, who is a technical product owner at Johnson & Johnson. Manoharan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Great. So tell me, what have you been up to since you got certified as a product manager with Product School?
Initially, I was doing the technical program manager role. So after joining the product school, I think I got the framework how to, end to end the product from the initiation, ideation, till the deployment, and how to measure the success. Okay, so the complete framework I learned through the product school. I think that helped me to land in this place. Okay, so this is one of the dream place for me to work for some of the cancer related products. Okay, it's been a long time dream for me. So finally, I ended up landing in this product. Okay, so I'm happy that the product school gave me the complete framework for me to land in this place.
What kind of products are you working on? What does a typical day to day look like for you at Johnson & Johnson?
It's mainly the cancer device product. Okay, where we are helping the patients with uh, lung cancer surgery. And our product is mainly helping the patient who has the lung cancers. Okay, so my day-to-day life working with the product marketing managers to collect the marketing requirements and convert that into the technical requirements for the team to uh, develop. Okay, so that's my job, and also working with the different stakeholders to come up with the strategy and defining the product roadmap with the product management team. Also working with the service team to understand the service needs for the product, as well as at the same time working with the the software architects uh, to check whether the feasibility of the requirements, whether it's feasible or not, working on the minimum viable product to check whether it's feasible or not from the technical perspective. So these are the day-to-day activities, I would say, in my job.
And I understand that you started out as an engineer. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was the transition like from engineer to a more program management, product management space?
Yeah, I initially started as a software engineer in my career as a Java developer. Okay, so then later I moved into the program management, then moved into the product management right now. So from the engineer, I think my job is mainly focusing on developing some modules. Okay, so uh, then when I moved into the program management, I understand the complete big picture of the program. What is the impact, working with the different stakeholders, uh, how I can take the product faster to the market. Okay, the go to market, how fast I can bring it to the market. When I step into the product, the thought process is a little more than that. Okay, thinking from the user perspective. uh, I mean, how many users has this problem? uh, I mean, what is the impact of this problem? Okay, how when I solve this problem, how many users I'm going to solve it? Okay, so those are the things. When I stepped into product management, the thought process is going a little different towards the empathy of the user. Okay, so that's where the transition from engineer to program management to the product management, I would say.
Mhm. And what was it that led you to wanting to work in the tech industry in the first place?
I mean, that was a childhood dream to become an engineer. Okay. I mean, when I was studying in my eighth grade, I set my goal. Okay. So So to be honest, I would say the one of the follower I follow, the APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, he always says the define goal. Okay, dream big. Okay, so that's where I started in my school. Okay, when I started. My 8th grade, I started thinking, okay, I do well in math, so I thought how I can bring my math skills into the engineering. Okay, that's where I started my dream to become an engineer. Okay.
Mhm. And now let's talk about your certification with product school. What was your experience like with your instructor and on your cohort? How did you find the whole experience?
Uh, it was amazing, I would say. Okay, working with the Fred. I mean, l- l- listening his experience for the almost he is working in the industry for more than 20 years. Okay, listening from Fred on his experience. Okay, it's more than the textbook lecture, right? So he shares his experience. Live experience, I would say. Okay, how Nike became the success product. Okay, how Nintendo became the success product. Okay, the different angle of each and every product we went through. Still I remember, okay, one of the failure product. Okay, he thought about it. Okay, in the Bay Area, one of the company where they launched the juice machine. Okay, so it didn't hit. Okay, so those are the live examples on the class he taught us. Okay, also we used to have on each class we used to have 2 or 3 working session with the the other classmates. Okay, that was really helpful to understand the different perspective from the different field of the product enthusiastics, I would say, whether it's a product manager or the product owners. Okay, that so I kind of got different perspective of the each problem how we are going to solve from the different industry, I would say. Okay, so that helped me to think from the different angle. Oh, if the given problem, or these are the possibilities are there. Okay, so it was helpful in a way that for me to come up with the different options. Okay, how I can approach the problem. Okay.
Mhm. And would you say that's, or rather, what was one of the things from the course that you found particularly helpful that you use in your day-to-day as a product manager? Were there any lessons that you found particularly impactful?
I would say a couple of things. One is the from the starting, I'm saying that the framework which product school uh, gave through these courses. Okay, so I have completed the product manager certificate as well as the product leader certificate. Okay, in both the cases, it was really helpful. The framework of the how as a product manager I can approach the product, as a product leader how I can define the product, coming up with the roadmap, and working with the different stakeholders. So those are the things. Okay, so kind of business value model as well as the value proposition model. Okay, so also the a TAM, SAM, SOM. Okay, the how the these are the different the framework, I would say. I mean, if we have this framework, okay, definitely that's going to help the product in a successful manner. Okay.
Mhm. And since you took the product leader certification, maybe you're well equipped to answer this question. What do you think are some of the skills, or really the things to keep in mind that we need when we're moving to a leadership role? Like, what does it take to take the leap and go from like an entry level product manager to a product leader?
I would say the long-term goal of the product and the product, the clear product roadmap. Okay, so it's not only about defining solution for that the short term of the particular program. Okay, think from the long term perspective, because going forward so I mean, we are in the era of the cloud and the machine learning. Okay, so any product which we are right now, any industry you take, how we can use the cloud as well as the artificial intelligence to I mean, those kind of things is going to help us in big way. So probably down the line, in 4 or 5 years, I think we'll be much more aligned towards with the cloud and the artificial intelligence. Okay, so it's going to ease our life, especially for healthcare. Okay, so so I'm in the industry which I'm working for more than a decade. Okay, so it's kind of helping us for the doctors or clinicians to come with the recommended the treatment plan, so that helps the patient to get the early treatment. Okay, as well as it's also helping the next patient to get the early consultation, so with the doctors. Okay, those are things going to help the patient lives. Okay, so those kind of, I mean, the technology, those things in the long term perspective, that is something I learned from the product leadership certificate. Okay, so that is going to help in a big way, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the healthcare industry, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to break into the healthcare industry for the first time? Let's say they're working in product, but in something completely unrelated, but they're really passionate about getting into healthcare. What sort of things should they be doing to open the door to that industry?
I would say the bringing the artificial intelligence into their product, definitely it is going to recommend the treatment plan in one or other way. So that is going to help in a big way. Uh, More than that, I think how fast we can uh, bring the product into the market. Okay, because today in the world, okay, the need of healthcare is really uh, I mean, very huge. Okay, so it's not only the go to market, also for the even for the market like India, China. I mean, the developing countries also. Okay, so how feasible they can afford these products. Okay, so we have to think from both perspective, affordability as well as bringing the new technology. Okay, so that's what I would say. Okay, any product managers stepping into healthcare, right? Okay, uh, think from this perspective. Okay, so uh, as a patient getting the faster treatment. Okay, this is something uh, everyone in the world expect, right? At the same time, whether they can afford the treatment. Okay, something that is also important. Okay, so the affordability, if as a product manager, how you can come up with those kind of product is really important. It is going to save each the patient lives. Okay, so also it's going to help the entire world. Okay, that's what I would say. The impact of the healthcare product is huge in terms of the lives. Okay, so the impact on the society, I would say.
Excellent advice. And circling back now to when you took your certifications, of course, you were working while you were pursuing education. Normally, it's expected that we sort of do one and then the other. You get educated and then you work, and that's it. It's just a line. So obviously, that wasn't the case for you. How did you manage to find the time to pursue education whilst also working as a full-time product manager?
It was hard. So weekly, almost 6 to 7 hours spending time for the products school certificates. Okay, so I mean, for me, the best support is my wife. Okay, so she used to take care of my two little kids. Okay, also taking care of the family. So I used to work. So when I was doing these certificates, mainly I used to work on the central time zone for the Chicago, but I kind of staying with my family in the Seattle due to the pandemic. So it's kind of I start my work early, kind of 4:30 in the morning. I finish my work almost by 3 o'clock in the evening. So then I get 2 hours time to relax myself, do any household work. Then I start my class at 5 o'clock in the evening till 8 o'clock. Okay, so I think it was a tough time. To be honest, it was almost I would say 6 months of time. Okay, to complete both the certificates. And I must really thank my wife for supporting very well during this time. Okay, so it helped me a lot. Okay, taking care of the family with the two kids during the pandemic without any family support, it was great. Okay, so I mean, my wife's support, without her, I wouldn't able to be completed these two certificates, to be honest.
Amazing. Well done to your wife for sure. And what advice would you have for people who are maybe thinking about taking the certificate, but they're not really too sure, they're not ready to take that leap? What advice would you give them about why it's good to get certified?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, like I said, the product, the management is really a different perspective compared to the program management I worked earlier. When you think product, what are the gains for the user? What are the pain you're going to solve for the users? Okay, so that is what is the impact. Okay, how much how many users has the problem? Okay, so you think from the different perspective of the customer journey map. Okay, so when you think about all those things, end of the day, it's all the empathy of the user. Okay, so how we are going to solve the problem for the user. Okay, so that's what I would say. uh, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it kind of gave me a framework. Okay, also how fast I can bring the product to the market. Okay, to help the uh, society. Okay, to help the people. Those are the things you need to think from when you're stepping into the product management. Think about the user empathy.
Mm-hmm. And since you're talking from the perspective of someone who you come from an engineering background, you're already working in a very technical setting, what advice would you have for other product managers who maybe they're not coming from that kind of background, they want to gain more technical skills? What advice would you give those people who are sort of starting from scratch on the technical side and they want to gain more technical skills?
Uh, I would say during our course in the product manager certificate as well, the product leadership certificate, it's a mix of people both from the engineering background and non-engineering background. It's highly recommended even for the non-engineering background to take this course because I saw the different perspective on the table during our discussions for solving many problems. Okay, so even one of my the classmate, so she came up with the bringing her own product. I mean, it's kind of everybody has to present their own product. End of the course, she came up with for the non-technical people how Coursera can bring more value. Okay, so those are the cool ideas. It came from the non-engineering background people. Okay, so I would say, I mean, these courses is not only designed for engineering background people, it's also designed for non-engineering people. Okay, I would say. So in that sense, I would strongly recommend to take this course because uh, the course contains the different elements of it's not associated with engineering only. Okay, so that's what I would say. Okay, so when they go into this course, they will get to know more about these frameworks. Okay, so in that sense, I would say it is going to help non-engineering people as well.
Awesome. And I just have one last question for you. What is the greatest lesson that product management has ever taught you?
User empathy. That's the mantra I always listen from Fred. Okay, so I'm also inspired by that. Okay, so thinking about the user empathy. Okay, so being in the user's shoes. Okay, so I mean, being in the user place, think the problem, so then you can define the product better. Okay, so the impact to the society will be bigger, as well as you're going to solve the problem which user is facing day to day. Also you're going to give, it's a pain relievers as well as the gains for the user, you're going to define the different set of features, I would say.
Okay, fantastic. Well, great answer. Thank you so much for joining me. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Yeah, thank you again so much for catching up. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for the great opportunity to talk to you guys. Okay, and it was a great 2 certifications I did. I'm due for one more, so I'm going to complete very soon that as well. So 2021 was a great year for me. Okay, with the help of the product school, I would say. Okay, and thank you so much for that, and I would encourage continue to do that. Okay, so the product school can bring so many product managers and product leaders in the field. Okay, so moreover, I mean, so I recommended same thing to my wife. I think she's also planning to take probably once I am done with my final course in the product school. So she is going to start her journey with the product school. So
Oh, amazing. Like a proper little product school family. I love that.
yeah.
Well, we look forward to welcoming her, and hopefully we look forward to welcoming all of you as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.